but I was... And the cop would be like, but I was nothing. I said freeze. Okay. Jashin. Number 7. On which page, Jashin? 63? Did I assign page 63? Oh. But I have it as page 60. But it's 63 on your guys' books? That's weird. Okay. Well, number 7. Yeah, it's hard to see. Right here, the angle is... It's really hard to see. It didn't photocopy at all. Well, it looks to me to be 50.5 degrees. So if you just did the math, you would get something close to the right answer. That's frustrating. That shouldn't be how that turned out. Did I print the puzzle sheets in the wrong order? Is that why? Oh yeah, I put your puzzle sheets. Yeah, I put your puzzle sheets before these. That should be okay. The next one should be page 64. Yeah, okay. So, any other questiones from, for you people, it was 62 and 63. Everyone's happy? You're able to work it out? You got the right answers? Yeah. Seal. Well, actually, we're about to with our next notes. We'll do all 3 of them. But I don't mind doing that anyway. So let's do this guy right here. Uh, 2.4, 2.5. So if I'm looking for this angle, first of all, it's going to be shift or regular? Shift, because I'm looking for an angle. Since I have opposite and hypotenuse, this is going to be shift sine. Okay? If I'm looking for this angle, I have adjacent and hypotenuse. So this one would be shift cos, because I have adjacent and hypotenuse. Everybody cool? It all depends on where you are. The only way to get good at trig is to practice it too. So let's flip to, if nobody has any more questions, like I understand what you're asking, Zeal, but we're going to practice that a ton. So you'll get it in the regular notes. If nobody has any specific questions about for what you people was page 62 and 63, I'll move on. Is that cool? All right. So you should be on page 64 now. Solving triangles. Solving a triangle means you find all the angles and all the sides. Okay? Now, if I'm looking for angles, what math tool do I have that will find me angles? A protractor, yes, absolutely. A protractor will find me angles. How can I do math, or how can I find angles without a protractor? Because not one of you is carrying a protractor right now. So what is the other way to find angles? Right. Angles, we need to use shift sine, cos, tan. That will find me my angles. What will find me my sides? I have two things that will find sides of triangles. What are they? You can use Pythagoras. And what else? Sine, cos, and tan. So depending on what you're looking for, that's going to be the tool that you use to do the job, right? Just like in real life. If I got to bang in a hammer, if I got to bang in a nail, I don't go look for a wrench, do I? I go and I get a hammer, the right tool for the job. Okay? Everybody cool? All right. Before you can decide on the tool for the job, you need to decide on what job it is you are doing, correct? To decide on what job it is you're doing, you need to figure out where you're going. So in this triangle, if I need to find all the angles and all the sides, what do I need? What is missing? Well, I don't know that, which is what? The hypotenuse. I'm going to need a hypotenuse. And I don't know that, which is what? It's adjacent to this 65, so we could call it adjacent, right? Because 65 is where we're going to start from. You could also call it what? A leg for doing Pythagoras, right? You could also call it, and Charlotte just gave away my next thing that I wrote here on purpose to mess with your heads. Charlotte named this the proper name, little c. Why is that bad previous to this summer when I have been teaching you? Because you might very well do Pythagoras wrong. Mightn't you? Because Pythagoras, a squared, b squared, c squared. But I've purposefully labeled this differently so you don't fall into that trap. Does everybody understand? All right, so now I've decided what I need, so now I have to decide what I have. Do I have anything that will help me do this job? What do I have? I have a theta of 65, and once I have that theta, somebody mentioned that was my starting point. So what do I have now? I have an opposite. Correct? What do I need? I need an hypotenuse, which right now I'm labeling as h. And what else do I need? I need an adjacent, which I'm labeling as little c. Now I can solve this, correct? Well, let's do so. The first thing, I have O and H. So, Sahil, what uses O and H? Absolutely right. Sine theta equals O over H. So now put in all the stuff I know. Do I know what theta is? Yes. What's theta, Sahil? 65. What's my O value? 41. Over what's my H value? Little h, right? Agreed? Now, if we were labeling this triangle properly, what letter really should I put there? I really should put little b, shouldn't I? Everybody understand? So let's just go ahead and make that change. The hypotenuse equals little b. Now, since the number is on the top, this is a division situation, yes? Little b equals 41 divided by sine 65. And that's going to give me an answer. Is everybody cool? Now, will that answer be pretty? No, there'll be a crap ton of decimals after it, right? Now, that's going to cause two problems. First of all, let's see what that answer is. 41 divided by sine 65. 45.2384, blah, 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 blah. So I'm perfectly happy if you write 45.2. But Are we done with this question? No. So we might need that number again, right? So should I erase it off my calculator? No. We're going to leave it there for a second, just in case it's going to help us again. Now, let's go down to, we found this guy. Now we got to find this guy, right? So, do I still have a theta? What is it? 65. And I have an opposite, but now I need an A. What uses O and A? Tan. So tan theta equals O over A. Tan of 65 equals O, 41 over A. Numbers on the top, letters on the bottom, so this is a division situation. Equals little c. Now, go back to my calculator. I need the 41 and I need the A. Do I need the hypotenuse anymore? Do I need it? No, so I can go ahead and get rid of it, because most of your calculators don't show a big screen like mine, do they? They show one number at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And I do this, 41 divided by tan 65. 19.1. Have I solved the triangle? No, because I don't know this last angle, do I? But that last angle is easy to find. I could use trig, or I could remember this. The angles in a triangle add to what? Add to 180 degrees. How much do I have there? How much do I have there? So if the whole triangle is 180 and I've used 90 of it right there, then the other two angles have to add up to what? 90. The trick here is in a right triangle, the two acute angles add to 90. So what math am I going to use to find out this guy up here? 90 minus 65 equals big C. And it is 30. I lie. It is 25 degrees. Now, before you learn that, like this question that was on your previous work right here, when I asked you to find both angles, if you don't know that they add up to 180, you got to do trig twice, don't you? You got to do sine with this one, opposite and hypotenuse, then cos with this one, adjacent and hypotenuse. But now, if you didn't know, now you know that you're okay to just subtract. So this leads us to this state of affairs. And you don't need to write this down. This is just to help you out. To do trig, what do I need? What did I have in this triangle before I was able to do trig? Don't answer out loud yet. Let's just draw a couple of things. Can I do any trig on that triangle? Why not? You've got no numbers at all. Okay? All right. Can I do trig on that triangle? Why not? You still don't have enough information, do you? Can you do trig on that triangle? Still not, right? But can you now tell me one more piece of information about this triangle? What can you tell me? What's the other angle? What is it? 58. Now, you've got all three angles. You can surely do trig now, yes? No, why not? You've got no distances on the side. Sine, cos, and tan need opposite and hypotenuse, adjacent and hypotenuse, or opposite and adjacent, don't they? So I need at least one side. Now can I do trig? Yes. So to do trig, I need one side and one angle. That will allow me to do trig, yes? Okay, what about this? Can I do trig on that second triangle right now? No. I've got two thetas, but do I know what they are? No. Now can I do trig? Why? Because if I have two sides, I can shift tan for this theta. I can shift tan for this theta. Right? And once I have them, I can sine and cosine for the hypotenuse. Is everybody cool? You need two pieces of information to do trig. At least one side and one angle, or two sides. Everybody cool? What if I didn't have that 90 degree there? Could you guys do trig on that right now? No. But what if I told you this was the square root of 305? Could you now do trig on this triangle? So far since I asked that question, Jashin has answered yes, no, yes. Then she looked at Prussia, and now she's looking at me, and now she's going, could you do trig now? Yes, you can. Why? Because 305 is 7 squared plus 16 squared. And then you square root the answer. Now, since that's Pythagoras, can you write that there? Yes. And now, can you do opposites and adjacents? Because now you know it's a right angle triangle. And you people can only do trig on right angle triangles. Is everybody good? Excellent. Okay. I have 946. Here's what I would like for you to do. I want you to finish page 64. There's only a few questions there. Just finish page 64. Then I'm going to go over. I'll show you all the right answers. Then we'll have our quiz. All right? You can work together. You can use your notes. And it will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 20 minutes? 20? Okay. After that, we'll go over it. It'll be 10:08, and then we'll write our quiz. Okay? Yes, Amber.
You said you would multiply here, but you divided. I'm confused here.
Why would I multiply there?
Because 65.
Okay, I'm going to show you in a sec. Again, you're going to need to pay attention, because if you can't get your mind around that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble this semester. Okay? Watch. 7 equals 56 over x. That's what we have right there, right? Except you had a tan over here, right? Okay. You need to get x by itself, right? Okay. How are you going to get x out from under there? You're going to multiply that by x, and they're going to cancel, yes?
Yeah.
You're cool with that side? If I multiply this side by x, what do I got to do to this side? So now I have 7x, yes? Now how do I get rid of that 7?
Divided by.
I do. I divide both sides by 7, correct? So now x equals 8, yeah? Now look, to find the right answer, I did 56 divided by 7, didn't I? Now look back at the original question. See the shortcut? I ended up doing 56 divided by 7. So we had tan of 65 or whatever equaled, or it wasn't tan, it was sine. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Sine 65 equaled 41 over b, right? Well, at the end of it all, I'm going to do 56 divided by whatever's over here, right? If I do all the algebra. So, because it's summer school, I'm taking you straight to the shortcut.
Okay.
Which is 41 divided by sine 65. Now, if it was the other way around, how do you get rid of the 41? You multiply by 41. Now b is isolated. So 41 times sine 65 would get me b. Okay? Jashin.
These right here. What's like the difference between these two? Like, I can't really.
There isn't a difference. Except in this one you have two sides, and in this one you have a side and an angle.
But this has also a side mix as well.
Okay. In order to do this one, yeah, this one's just got one of each in one place. Yes. All of these are using just sides, so you got to do at least one shift sine, don't you? Or shift cos or shift tan, right? These ones that you have an angle on,
You just gotta do mix of it.
then you don't even need to do shift tan ever, do you? Because if you know one angle, you know the other one, don't you?
Here you do, right? Here, because
This one you would have to do shift tan because you don't have any angles. If you need to find an angle, you got to do shift. At least once. All right, time is up. There are the first two answers done. Check your work, make sure you're doing it right. Now listen to me, please. This is something that makes math teachers want to... Gentlemen, this is something that makes math teachers want to stab themselves in the eye with a pen. If you can do this once, then does it ever change? No. It drives us crazy when you people do a question, do it right, and then on the very next question where you have to do the exact same thing, I don't know how to do it. That would be like saying you're walking down the street, left, right, left, right, left, right. Holy crap, I don't remember how to walk. Does that happen? No, it doesn't. So if you can do either of these, you can do the whole page. If you can't do those two, then the previous 150 times I have asked, is everyone okay? You have been lying to me. Does everybody understand that? Stop lying to me. If you do not understand, when do you ask? One of the 100 million times I ask you if you understand. Do I make myself clear? Excellent. If you write this out, is it possible to do it wrong? Really? How? You've given a data sheet with all the formulas on it, and your calculator does all the math, doesn't it? So is it possible to do this wrong? Is it possible to not do it right? Yeah, by not doing it. That's the only way. So, in this question, what do I need to find? I need to find an angle and a side. Who chooses the angle to find in number 3? You do. Right? How many people found G first? Anyone? Erlen did, and so did Avian. So if they're working with G, then their theta equals G, which means that Erlen is sitting right there. Which means, what is that to Erlen? Opposite. So that means her opposite is 4. And what is that to Erlen? Her hypotenuse is 8. So for Erlen, she has O and H. I don't know what that means, Mr. Myers. Go to your data sheet. What uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. Sine of theta equals O over H. Sine of G equals 4 over 8. I need an angle. So is it shift sine or regular sine? Shift sine. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the only piece of thinking that you need to do in this entire unit. Everything else is on your worksheets, isn't it? It's all on your data sheet. All you have to do is decide, am I finding an angle or a side? If I'm finding an angle, it's shift sine 4 divided by 8, which is, I think, 37, but I can't remember. It's 30. Once Erlen knows 30, does she automatically know this? What is it? 60. Because 90 minus 30 is 60. If you started down here, then you're using cos and hypotenuse to find 60, and then you automatically know that. Now, in a right angle triangle, if you know 2 sides, do you automatically know the third? Yes, because of what? Pythagoras. 8 squared minus 4 squared. 64 minus 16, 54. That is the square root of 48. So it's going to be 6.9-ish. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to make you feel unintelligent. What I'm trying to make you see is that you have to know one thing to do all of this. Don't fight. Just look. It's one mathematical concept, isn't it? In this one, do I automatically know the third side? I can Pythagoras for it, right? It's the square root of 7 squared, which is 49, and 25, which is the square root of 74, right? Which is about 8.5. Oh, I added, thank you. I had to subtract. 49 minus 25, it's the square root of 24. Now, actually, I'm glad that happened. Because if I did this Pythagoras wrong and I said this was 8.5, would you continue to do trig with that? Why not? What's wrong with this triangle the way I've drawn it? How can 8.5 be longer than 7? 7 has to be the hypotenuse, yes? So thank you, Zach, because that's going to happen to some of you. So this has to be the square root of 24, which is about 4.9, right? Now I know all 3 sides. Who decides where theta is? You do. If this is theta, then this is O, A, H. If this is theta, then what's this side? O, what's this side? A, what doesn't change? H. And then you just do trig. Everybody understand? Do you need 5 more minutes with this page now? Go. I will put up all the answers right now. And it's recording, but it's of course not showing the work, because the work is always the same, right? Because can I predict the order that you're going to do this in? No. So I am only showing answers. You keep working. Yes.
What would I do here if I have
The same thing you do every other time. You have 19 on the bottom. How do you get rid of it?
multiply?
Multiply both sides by 19. If you are done, as you should be, please mark your work. If you cannot see some of my numbers because I just shrunk it down a little, ask, and I will tell you. And ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, please, am I doing this any different math than you are? No, yet you see I have all my answers and I haven't written anything down. Why is that? Starts with a P, ends with an E, has ractic in the middle of it. Practice. When I look at this triangle, I see my theta, I see my hypotenuse, and right away I know I need to use sine and cos there. So I don't need to write it down. Does everybody understand? I'm not trying to show off. I'm just saying that that is how easy trig can get for you if you practice. But if you don't practice and you don't remember what you did on the question right before that, because you're talking about whatever it is you're talking about, then it's going to seem difficult. Right? But it's not. It's the same thing every single time. Theta, opposite hypotenuse, opposite adjacent, adjacent hypotenuse. Which one are you doing? And you don't even need to memorize it. It's on your data sheets. Erlen, you had your hand up. Which one? 12. Okay, so let's look at 12. 12 I did draw out to help you. Now you will notice that the last thing I have on today is trig word problems, which is what this is, yes? That's a different skill than being able to do the trig, right? So, a stake is driven into the ground at an angle of 60 degrees to the horizontal. There's the ground, agreed? The stake is going to get stuck into the ground. I'll get brown because that's the color of a stake. It's stuck into the ground. How long is that stake? 1.4. It's stuck into the ground at an angle of 60 from the horizontal. Well, there's the horizontal, so what is this? 60. Do I have a triangle yet? As soon as I add that line, I have a triangle, don't I? Now, we can forget about the word problem, can't we? Because the triangle I have is this. 1.4, 60. Where do shadows show up? You guys have all seen your shadow. Where is it? On the ground. Which of those two extra lines there is the one on the ground? That one, right? So I need to know that length. Do I have a theta? What is it? 60. What's this? Hypotenuse is 1.4. What's this? Adjacent. Why is it adjacent? Because it's beside theta, but it's not the hypotenuse. So that's my x. What uses a and h? Cos theta equals a over h. Can you do it wrong? No. Cos, what's theta? 60 equals a. What's a? X over h. What's h? 1.4. How do I get rid of this number so x is by itself? Multiply by 1.4. What do I do to the other side? 1.4 times cos 60 equals x, because those are going to cancel. Cos of 60 is 0.5. 1.4 times 0.5 is 0.7. All right. Now, let's stop and talk about some stuff that we have learned from this page. If you have a hypotenuse Where is it always going in the fraction? It's always the denominator, isn't it? So if you have a hypotenuse, it's always down there. So if you know a hypotenuse, then you're always going to be multiplying, aren't you? If you don't know a hypotenuse, then what are you going to be doing? Dividing. Do you see what I'm saying? These are the things that you people should be noticing. But you don't look at each question, or you do look at each question as a single thing. And then you go to the next question, and it's like you're on something totally new. But it isn't, is it? Continue to hold the knowledge in your head. You're smart young people, right? When you have to log in to whatever account you're playing around with now, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube, whatever you're using, when you have to log in and it says, enter your username and password, what do? You enter your username and password just like you did the previous 100 times, right? You don't go to click on some new device, go to your Instagram and say, oh my God, I don't know how to get there, do you? No, because you know to do your username and password. You remembered that, right? You remember how to get to school every day, don't you? Right? You don't wake up in the morning like that guy in the movie Memento, oh my God, who am I? And read all the letters you've written to yourself on your body, do you? Or that other movie, Clean Slate. Or that other movie, 50 First Dates. Or that other movie. Or that other movie. That's not real life. That's why they're movies. You remember stuff. Apply it. Okay? 10:30. Breaks at 10:40. I want to do this quiz, but I'm concerned. Nope, we're going to do this quiz. We're going to do only the first page. You don't have to do the backside. Desk's clear. You got 12 minutes to answer 8 questions. That's a minute and a half per question. To do a trig question, you need to write 3 numbers. How fast can you write 3 numbers? Better be faster than a minute and a half. Take one, pass them back. You only have to do the front side up to number 8. The back side is just 7 and 8 again and again and again. Work till the break. On the quiz that's coming around, the one that's sitting on your desk. I know, it's only the 3rd quiz I've given you. I know that, I don't know that I take one and pass it along. Somehow Amherst and Trinity got this, so. Don't forget Takanari over there. Just do the front, make sure you put your name on it. You have until the bell rings. If the bell rings and you're not done, you know what you can do. If you finish before the bell rings, get it up to me and have a look at the rest of this page. Make sure you're doing it right. All right, you will notice that the quiz I've just handed back to you is not marked. That is because looking at the first few questions and looking how long it was taking everyone, there was no point in marking that. Therefore, I'm going to go over it as notes. You are going to write them down and you are going to use it to study. Because the next quiz I give you today, which may happen today, I am going to be marking. So be quiet, pay attention, and learn what it is you need to do trigonometry. For those of you that do get it, I apologize. I will not be doing this very often. What do the instructions say? Find the ratio, find the fraction, find the decimal. Does anywhere in there say find an angle? Anywhere. Do any of you see the words find the value of the angle? And yet, how many of you found the angle? Don't bother putting your hand up. It was a great proportion of you. Did that take time? Did I give you a time limit? Should you have wasted your time doing something that you didn't need to do? Is summer school an appropriate venue for time to be wasted? Why not? Because we are cramming an entire year into 19 days. Do what you are asked to do. Sine. Sine Z equals O over H. Where is Z? Find it. Put your pencil on it right now. Now go opposite Z. What do you see? 40. Where is the hypotenuse? Where it always is. Opposite from the right angle. 40 over 50. That is a fraction. Now make it a decimal. 0.8. That would have been worth 1 mark if I was marking. A great many of you would have gotten nothing. Cos x. Cos x equals A over H. Put your pencil on x. What is adjacent to x? 27. Where is the hypotenuse? Where it always is. 27 over 45. 0.6. C. Sine C is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite, 12. Hypotenuse, 15. 0.8. Now, we have done, if I go back and count, I would conservatively say 100 of these. Is doing something 100 times enough to expect you to know how to do it? I think so. If I am wrong, tell me, and as we go further, I will give you 200 examples of things. What is the first thing I said to do every time you see a triangle? Write out what you know. How many times have I written theta equals? About 100. Do you have a theta in that question? What is it? 49. If you know what you are doing, I do not want you to say anything out loud for the next 3 questions. Once you have theta, that is where you are starting. What do you know? What is that? Opposite. What value is it? X. What is that? Adjacent. What value is it? 10. What uses theta, O, and A? Tan. Tan theta equals O over A. Tan of 49 equals X over 10. How do you get rid of divided by 10? Times 10. 10 times tan 49. And the answer is 11.5. This question. Do you have a theta? 62. Once you have 62, you have to check. What is that? Opposite. 17. What is that? Adjacent. X. What uses O and A? Tan. Tan 62 equals O, 17 over A. Letter on the bottom. 17 divided by tan 62 equals 9. And lastly, theta equals 68. O equals 17. H equals x. What uses O and H? Sine 68 is O 17 over H. X. Letter on the bottom. 17 divided by sine 68 equals x, which equals 18.3. This is all being recorded if you didn't get it the first time. Do you have all three sides? You need this angle, yes? You need an angle. Is it shift or regular? Shift. Since you have all three sides, can you use any of them? Yes. You could do sine, cos, or tan. Sine, 37 over, 35 over 37. Cos, 12 over 37. Tan, 35 over 12. You shift them, and you get an answer of 71 degrees. What are the three here? Sine would be what? Again, if you know what you're doing, don't say it out loud because you obviously know. He waited patiently for somebody to find the opposite and the hypotenuse in a triangle where it was already drawn for them. 45 over 75. What would the cos be? 60 over 75. What would the tan be? 45 over 60. And that gets you something in the neighborhood of 37 degrees. I can't go on if you can't do this. The first few quizzes I looked at were not up to a level where I am confident moving onwards. The reason I gave you those quizzes is because until I gave you those quizzes, I was confident moving onwards. Why was I confident moving onwards? Because every 2 seconds I say, is everyone okay? And what does everyone say? Yeah. Are you okay if you cannot do the work that you have been asked to do? No. So should you be saying you're okay? No. Does everybody understand? It is a simple state of affairs. Let's try it with another question. How many of you right now in your pockets have a slice of pizza? See, no one. See how easy it is? How many of you like pizza? See how easy it is to answer questions that are yes and no? Let's try another one. How many of you like being lectured at like this? Good. How many of you wish I would shut up and teach math? Good. You can all answer yes and no questions. Terrific. Now do it. Okay? Because I can't teach math if only 5 of you know what you're doing. Okay? Okay. Please turn your page over to page 65. Ignore this. We are not doing that. These next few pages are going to be very difficult for you if you cannot do trigonometry. So, the first 3 questions, I'm going to go very, very slowly. After that, I'm going to speed up a little. Let's try. What do you notice is missing in question number 9 here that you have had in every other trig question I have given you in the previous 100 attempts? What is not on the page right now? There is no triangle. How, Zach, can we do trig without a triangle? It cannot be done, can it? So what is the first thing I should do? Draw a triangle. How do I draw that triangle, you ask? Well, I would read the question. Ike is on the soccer field and he looks at the roof of the school. Can we visualize that? Soccer field, school. Easy peasy, right? Field's on the ground, school goes up in the sky. Where is Ike? He's standing on the soccer field 42 meters from the base of the school. Where would that be? There is only 2 places Ike can stand. Can he stand here? No, he cannot, because that would mean he was in the wall of the school. Can he stand here? He could if he had a ladder. Or can he stand here? He can stand here. Why? Because it says he's 42 meters away from the base of the school. 42. Can I do trig yet? Why not, Erlen? I need 2 pieces of information, don't I, in my triangle? Do I have 2 pieces? No. So where do I find that other piece of information? I go back to my question. The question says he looks up, or he looks at the roof of the school with an angle of elevation of 30. Well, it can't be that one because we know we never deal with the 90. So it has to be one of these 2. Which of these, A or B, is an angle of elevation? Which one would require his eyes to go up? A. So if A is the angle of elevation, what number can we put there? 30. Now, do we have our 2 pieces of information? Somebody who did not get 100% on that last quiz I just gave you, one of you tell me what your theta here is. 30. What other piece of information do you have once you know this is where Ike is? I have an adjacent. Of what value, Jimmy? 42. I would like to know how tall the school is. Do you measure height on an angle or vertically? Vertically. So I need this value right here, correct? Since I have labeled this with big A, what should I label this with? Little a. So what do you call the side that is across from the angle that you have named theta? Opposite is little a. What uses theta, A, and O? Tangent. Now write it down. And actually put the values in. Because I'm not going to go on to the next one until I believe everyone has done it. I'm looking around and I'm hoping to see 29 pencils moving. Now, every pencil is moved. Tan of theta equals O over A. I can find that on my data sheet. Do I have a theta? Theta equals 30. Can I write a number there? What number can I write there? Tan 30 equals O. O equals little a. So I can only write a little a there. Big A equals 42. So what can I write here? 42. Now, everybody write down what I am about to write. I don't care if you're getting an A in my class or not. We are going to write out the long way because apparently that is needed. Why am I multiplying by 42? Because I am trying to get rid of division. 42 and 42 cancel. Now little a equals 42 times tan 30. Do you need to know any math to do this? Right here. No. Because what is doing the math there? Your calculator. Can I read your mind and know what calculator you have? No. Whose responsibility is it to learn how their calculator works? Yours. So you are now punching in, and I made you write this down, what you need to do to make this work. Most of you are going to go 42 times tan 30 equals. A few of you are going to have what I call a backwards calculator, which means you are going to reverse that order. 30 tan times 42 equals. And you are all going to get the right answer. Please do so now. And what is the right answer? 20.2. Now, stop for a moment. Look at what we did. We had to decide how to draw the triangle. We then had to decide where was theta. We then had to decide what ratio we were going to use, sine, cos, or tan. We then had to do algebra. There are 4 things there. Who knows where you are screwed up in those 4? Do I know or do you know? You know. So what must you ask before we go on to the next question? Something about whichever one of those 4 you cannot do. Who knows that answer? You do. Everybody comfortable? All right. Read the next question and see if you understand how to draw the triangle. Don't actually draw the triangle, or if you are going to draw the triangle, draw it in pencil lightly. So you do it. If it needs to be changed, we can change it. I'll wait about 15 seconds for you to decide if you even understand the question. Okay. What is some information the question is giving us? What do we know? Jimmy. There's an angle of 15 degrees somewhere in our triangle. Excellent. What else do we know? Jashin. You know that there is a plane 2,500 feet in the air. Yes? Which must mean there is also ground. Yes? Where do we draw ground? Horizontal. Excellent. I've even drawn it green, like the earth. Where do planes live? In the sky. Do we have a triangle yet? No. Can we make a triangle? Yes. The plane is flying this way, correct? How far off the ground is it? 2,500. Do I have a triangle yet? The question says, how far away horizontally is mission? Here's mission, because it is a distance away from the plane. Do I have a triangle yet? Now do I have a triangle? Excellent. I need to know a horizontal distance. Is that the red? I lie, that was a bad way to do it. Is that yellow, blue, or green? It is yellow. So I need this distance. If this is the distance I need, I'd better put an X there, because that's what I'm trying to find, correct? Can I do trig yet? Why not? I need at least 2 sides or an angle. Do I have an angle? Jimmy has said I have an angle of 15 degrees. Where is an angle of depression? Is it At the plane or at the ground? It is at the plane because the angle goes down 15 degrees. Now, all of you should be able to set this up. Just do that and actually write it down. Go. Every single one of you. Even if you feel you know what you're doing. What is theta? 15. Once you establish theta as your starting point, how do you know if it's O, A, or H? You look at the triangle. What is this value that is across the triangle? What is it? Opposite. Opposite equals 2,500. You need this side. What is that side? It is adjacent. But Mr. Myers, you said adjacent is beside theta. There's two lines beside theta. Why can it not be that one? Because that one is always the hypotenuse. That one already has a special name. It never gets another one. So adjacent is x. Did everybody write? Was everyone able to write that? If you're not, it is up to you to come and ask me or a friend how to do it. Can everybody do that? Now, looking on your sheet, what uses theta, O, and A? Tan theta, which is 15, equals O, which is 2,500, over A, which is x. Your job is to get x alone. Now, because it's summer school, I only showed you how to do this with algebra once, because I expect you to know. So I am giving you this gift. If the letter is on the bottom, you do division. And again, you must learn how to do it. Most of you go 2,500 divided by tan 15 equals. That should work. Some of you need to reverse that. 2,500 divided by 15 tan equals. I don't know what your calculator is, but here is mine. In a moment, 2,500 divided by tan, because I have a forward calculator, 15. Now, do I need to close these brackets? No. Should I? Yes. Why? Good practice for the future when this isn't the end of the question. Close brackets equals 9,330. Is that an answer that makes sense? It does to me. It has to be the longer side because 15 isn't very big, is it? Now, I'm going to ask again, and you don't need to publicize this. I'm going to ask again. You must look at yourself right now and decide what part of that 4-step process you cannot do. Okay? Now, number 11 is a real-life question, right? We build roads all the time, don't we? You all got here on a road. This is the type of thing that they have to do in order to build a road. A road rises 1 meter for every 19 meters measured along the road. So, the road rises. So that means if the road doesn't rise, it's right along there, isn't it? But it does rise, doesn't it? So the ground is here, but the road rises up here. Does everyone agree? Now, the question says the road rises 1 meter. Is this a triangle yet? Can I make it a triangle? Now it's a triangle. Where is the rise of the road? Is it yellow, blue, or green? Blue. How do you know it's blue? Because that's the one that goes up. So this has a rise of 1. For every 19 meters measured along the road, where is the road? The gray line or the black line? The gray line. Because it says right there, we are measuring the road. If you were building a road up a mountain, you would not drill a hole through the mountain and then put an elevator up to there, would you? You would drive up the side of the mountain. So this is 19. Do I now have a triangle that I can do trig with? Yes? Excellent. What do I need to do to solve the question, which says, how far does a car travel horizontally if it goes 300 meters along the road? Well, now, along the road, along the gray, is not 19. What is it? It's what? 300. Right? Has this changed at all? No, it hasn't, has it? If I know this theta, do I know this side if I'm using 300? I do, don't I? How do I find theta there? What am I going to use? Is it an angle that I am seeking? So is it shift or regular? Shift. Does that change what I write down right now? Or does it change what I do with my calculator? Changes the calculator. Should it change what I do right now? No. Theta is an unknown. What's that? Opposite equals 1. What's that? Hypotenuse, because it's across from the 90, is what? 19. What uses O and H? Sine theta equals 1 over 19. Do I want the sine of theta or do I want theta? Theta. So I must do shift sine of 1/19. And what does that get me? Again, I'm trusting you to know how your calculator works. 3. So now I know that this is 3, don't I? I'm not going 19 along the road, am I now? What am I going along the road? 300. So this is my new triangle. 3 and 300. And I want horizontal distance. Is that green or blue? Green. So this is the side I want. What is my theta? 3. What else do I know? What's this? Adjacent, which is x. What's this? Hypotenuse, which is 300. What uses A and H? Cos. Cos 3 equals A, x, over H, 300. Number on the bottom, what is it? 300 times cos 3. And you're going to do that right now with your calculator. And what is it? 299.6. Does that make sense? It has to be less than 300, is it? Yes. And it has to be very close to 300 because 3 degrees is only like this much, isn't it? All right. Let's look at number 12. I want the area of the rectangle, which means I must need width and length, correct? Everyone agree? Okay, in order to do that, I need to find that distance and that distance, yes? What should I name this side if this corner is big Z? What should this be? Little z. And if this corner is big X, what should this corner be? Little x. Now, in order to find unknown sides, I can use trig, can't I? Trig needs what? It needs a triangle, which I now have, and it needs an angle, which I have, and it needs a side, which I have. Can I do trig? Great. How do I do trig? The same way I've done it every other time. Do I write theta? What is it? 21. Once I've established 21, I need to know what the opposite is. What is it? O equals Z. What is the adjacent? A equals X. What do I know? Hypotenuse is 12.7. Do I have an angle? Yes. So I need a side. Is side sine cos tan or shift sine cos tan? Sine cos tan. What uses O and H? Sine. So sine of 21 is O over H. What uses A and H? Cos. So cos 21 is A over H. Can you fill this in now? What goes in for O? Sine 21 equals Z over what goes in for H? 12.7. Number on the bottom, what is it? 12.7 times sine 21. Right? What about cos? Cos 21. What's A? X over what? 12.7. So 12.7 times cos 21 will give me X, won't it? Why didn't I do these questions now? Why did I leave them like that and not put a value? What am I trying to find in this question? The area. An area is X times Z, isn't it? Length times width. So I don't need to go to my calculator yet, because to do the question, I'm going to need to multiply those two, aren't I? So if I put that in brackets times that in brackets, will I get the best possible answer? Yes. Do I care if you do that? Or are you allowed to get me a rounded answer there and a rounded answer there? You are. What's going to happen if you round this off and round this off to your final answer? Is it going to be the same as mine? No, it's going to be a couple decimal places off, isn't it? Why? Because I did no rounding here. For me, because I've been doing this forever, I leave it like this. I only want to go to my calculator once. Why do I only want to go to my calculator once? How many of you have sent a text with a wrong word in it? All of you need to put up your hand. Everyone's done it. Why? Because you hit the wrong button. The more times you hit the buttons on your calculator, every time you update a button on your calculator, what is there a chance of you doing? Hitting the wrong one. So the less times you go to it, the better off you'll be. 12.7 times sine 21. Close brackets. Now, I forgot to put brackets there, so I'm going to push equals. That gives me my first one, correct? There. Now, what does that answer have to do? It has to multiply by what? 12.7 times cos 21, close brackets. And there is my answer. 53.96 or something, wasn't it? So it's going to be 54. Sale. Because sine found me the red one, cos found me this one. I had to do them both because I needed both numbers so I could multiply length times width. Okay? Up until now, we've only been looking for one number, so we only had to do one. But here we needed two numbers, so we had to use them both. Cool? All right. Look at this question. Determine the length of MN. Where is MN? Find it and highlight it somehow for you because you're using a pencil. That is MN, correct? Does everyone agree? In order to find that, I must have either two sides or a side and an angle, yes? Well, what do I have right there? That's an angle. So if I can find one more side, I could find MN, couldn't I? I could find that side or that side. Which side will allow me the ability to find it right now? Why the green side, Zach? Because it's part of this triangle. And in that green triangle, do I have a side and an angle? So can I find this right here in the green triangle? Yes. Once I have that, can I then work in the yellow triangle? Great. So I have to do the green triangle first. In the green triangle, and I'm going to use green ink to keep it easy, do I have a theta? Do not say it out loud. Let everybody have a chance to look at the green triangle. In the green triangle, is there an angle that you can see? Does everybody agree there's an angle they can see? Did everybody write 33? Good. Once you've established 33 as your starting point, that is where you go for opposites and adjacents. Does hypotenuse ever change? No. So what is this 8.2? Is it an opposite and adjacent or an hypotenuse? It is an hypotenuse. How do you know that? Because it is a cross. We don't like to say a cross in trig. It is opposite to the right angle. So our hypotenuse equals 8.2. Now, do I care about KL or do I care about LN? Why do I only care about LN? Because LN in the green triangle will give me the side I need in the yellow triangle. So LN is what here? Is it adjacent or opposite? Why do you know it is adjacent? It's beside theta, and it's not the hypotenuse. So my A equals, now I don't know what this is, so what should I give it? Some kind of variable. I'm going to call it little m, because it's across from big M. Is everybody cool? What will find me this value? What uses A and H? Cosine of what? 33 equals what? M over 8.2. How will I find M? Multiply 8.2. What do I need to do on the other side? 8.2, cancel. 8.2 cos 33 equals M. Now, am I allowed to find a value and round it here? Am I allowed? You are allowed. Will it get you the best possible answer? No. Will it get you close enough for the A for me? Yes. I would recommend not doing it, but you're beginners, so go ahead and do that. With your calculators right now, tell me what M is. Do not say it out loud. Once again, just punch into your machine. I'm going to punch into mine. You're going to see the right answer, and then you're going to know if you're doing your trig properly or not. Does everybody have an answer yet? And when I say everybody, I cannot stress this enough, ladies and gentlemen. You really should be doing this along with us. Oops. Everybody agree? My calculator, I got to punch it in forwards. My calculator is so smart, I don't even need to push times there. Most of your forward calculators will do that too. What is that value? What should I write down? 6.9. Is that okay? Now, I know that I need this number in this triangle, don't I? So should I clear that? No. I can write it right here just in case I screw up, but I'm going to leave it on my calculator because I'm going to need it again, aren't I? Go to the yellow triangle and again do what we have done now 105 times. What is theta? 49. That establishes theta up there, which means I need this side, which I'm going to call little l because it's across from big L. What is little l compared to theta? Opposite equals little l. And what is this side? It's a hypotenuse. My hypotenuse equals this number that I already have here, isn't it? But I'm going to write 6.9, yes? Now, what uses O and H? Sine of 49 equals O, L, over 6.9. 6.9 sine 49 equals L. So L equals. Now, it's already on my calculator, isn't it? I know it's going to be 6.9 times sine 49, and it's already sitting there. So all I need to do is push times sine 49. And what's my answer? 5.2. You don't need to say anything now, but you need to take stock of yourself. Are you feeling more confident with trig now than you did 40 minutes ago? What is the difference between this last 40 minutes and the last block on Friday and the first block this morning? The difference is I was being a dick and I was mean to you, and now all of you are paying attention. Is it complicated? 3 steps. When you pay attention, how hard is it to pick up those 3 steps? Now the problem is, you don't want to pay attention for very long, but sometimes you need to. Everybody cool? All right, now, turn the page over. You do number 14. I'm going to pause. I have all the work on the screen in a moment except the answer. Has everybody written out their work? Is there anybody that would like a little more time just to write out their work? Okay, no problem. I am not rushing you. Apparently, I've rushed you in the past, and that is why that last quiz went poorly. I'm not rushing anyone right now. I am not Russian. I'm Irish. I'm not Russian. I'm also sitting in one place, so I'm not Roman either. Get it? I'm not roaming. Stop it. I'll be appearing here till July 27th. Tip your waitress. Again, I don't have the answers out, but here is the work. Just check and make sure you've done the work right. This is what you need to punch into your calculator. And this is what you need to punch into your calculator. Was everybody able to write it out correctly? You don't need to say out loud. You don't need to nod your head. You don't need to do anything. You just need to know for yourself, did you write it out correctly? If you didn't write this out correctly, then check if you wrote this part correctly. If you did that part wrong, then you need to check if you wrote this part correctly. And find your errors. If you don't have it right, would asking me help? Yes or no? Asking me will not help, because I've already shown you how to do this, right? This is the only way I know how to do this. But if the person beside you did it right and you did it wrong, then they have learned something from me that you didn't learn, correct? So ask them, because maybe they can explain it in better words for you than what I have said. It never happens. They always use the exact same words I say. And then some kid always says, my friend teaches me so much better than you do. And I say, okay, no problem. Because it doesn't hurt my feelings. I eavesdrop on the conversation. I hear them using the exact same words I use. Or my other favorite one, I found a website that teaches this way better than you. Oh yeah, which website? Then I go to that website and guess what they say? Exact same words I say. But I'm okay with it because I don't care. Because then the kid thinks he's teaching me a lesson. I found somebody that teaches this way better than you. Oh, okay. Do you know how to do it now? Yeah. Oh, darn, you beat me. Crap, you know how to do math. That really makes me angry. Now, what are the answers? $27.5 tan 34, 18.5, 18.5, and 27.5 tan 29, 15.2. Now, what if you named your trees Y and X instead of X and Y? Would it matter? No. But I have had students say to me, I got 15.2 and 18.5. And they have said to me that they think they're doing it wrong. Are they? No. Okay. We're feeling good. We're feeling strong. This is the hardest trig question you will get all year. Believe it or not. This question. Right here, number 15. Try it. Work with your friend. I expect to hear people talking about it. Remember, I specifically told you to know how to read that notation. If you don't remember, look back in your notes to page 49. Was that hard? Okay. Where's the tower? Which one of those three would you consider to be the tower? Would it be the vertical one, the horizontal one, or the diagonal one? Vertical one. So there's the tower. Right? 2 guy wires. What's a guy wire? How many of you have ever seen anything stuck in the ground? Like a telephone pole. What comes down from the telephone pole? Wires. That's what a guy wire is. Could you ask me what a guy wire is? Yes, because is that a math question? No, that's an English question. So there's 2 wires supporting this thing. They are anchored at the same point on the ground, 8 meters from the tower. Where's the ground? Horizontal or diagonal? Horizontal. The 2 wires both start from the same spot, right there. So how far is this? 8 meters. One of the wires is 56. The other is 32. Right? So one wire goes up. The other one goes up. Oops, sorry. One wire goes up at 56. Agreed? But there's a second wire that goes from the same spot. What's its angle? 32. So now I need to know the length of the combined length of the guy wires. What if I got to replace them? Do I drive all the way out to the tower, measure them, go all the way back to the shop, cut them, go all the way back out to the tower and fix it? Or do I take 1 second at the shop to do some trig? 1 second at the shop to do some trig. I got 2 triangles, don't I? One of them is this guy with a 56 degree, right? The other one is this guy. The 8 is still the same, but what's this? 32. I need to find the length of the wire. Where's the wire? Is it the tower, the ground, or the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse. So I need this hypotenuse, and what else? This hypotenuse, then what am I going to do with them? Add them together. Go. Theta. Theta. What's that? So what's the adjacent over here in the blue one? Still 8. What do I need in the red one? Hypotenuse. So I'm going to make that x. What do I need in the blue one? Hypotenuse. Can I make it x again? No, because it's a different one, so I make it y. How do I find this guy? What uses a and h? Cos 56 equals a, 8 over x. What about over here? Cos 32, not 56, you idiot. Cos 32 equals 8 over y. Letter on the bottom, what math is it? 8 over cos 56. And what's this? 8 over cos 32. What do you do with those 2 numbers? Add them up. Everybody good? All right. Page 68. Read the question. What do I have? I have a creepy guy who lives in his apartment building. How would we draw an apartment building? Straight line. There's Tommy Boy. He looks across the street at another apartment building. There's the other apartment building. Where's my man Tommy? He's right here. There's Tom. How far is he off the ground? 130 feet. Yes? Everyone agree? He looks over at this building and he sees Sandra on the ground floor. So is Sandra at the top or the bottom of the blue building? Bottom. If Tom is just looking straight across, then he has to look how to see Sandra? Down. Where is the angle of depression? Is it where the S is, where the T is, or where the building meets? T. There is 40. Right? He checks out Sandra and he's like, yeah, all right, she's pretty cute. Any of you that have not... See, you people have all never lived in buildings like this because you've all lived in Abbotsford most of your lives, yes? In downtown Vancouver, like Yaletown, this is what people do. This is why the TV show Friends, if you watch it on Netflix, had ugly naked guy across the street. And they spent time watching him. Because in cities, buildings are like this. They are one street across. And you look across and you see your neighbors because they forget to close their blinds. Just like you forget that people can see in your car. And when you're driving down the street, you're singing along to the radio, you're putting on your makeup, you're picking your nose, and everybody can see you. Just because you're in your car doesn't mean they can't see you. Just like here. So then Tom says, Sandra's pretty cute, but ooh, there's Elizabeth. He looks how to see Elizabeth? Up. From where? From down here or from the flat line? From the flat line up to Elizabeth. And what's that that angle? 10. Now I want to know how far away these two are. So, there's this distance, which is part of which triangle? The top or the bottom? Bottom. X. And then there's this distance, which is y. If I want to know how far these two are apart, what do I got to do with x and y? X plus y. So how do I find it? How do I find x? What's my theta in the red triangle? 40. What else do I know about that red triangle? If that's theta, what's that? Opposite is x. Right? Now look closely. Don't I know that number? Why do I know that number, Jashin? Because how far is Tom off the ground? So isn't that 130? So do I even need to do that one? No. So now I go up to the blue or the green triangle. That's supposed to be green. I clicked on green. It's still red. Okay. Take your break. We'll finish this when you get back. All right, my green pen's working. So, what is wrong with that green triangle? I only have an angle. I only have an angle. Which means, can I do trig on it? No, I cannot. But I do have a triangle there that has two pieces of information, don't I? The red one has two pieces. Because I got a theta and I got an opposite that isn't x, because we know that it's 130. That allows us to find the adjacent on the red triangle. If I know that on the red triangle, do I know it on the green triangle? And then if I know it on the green triangle, do I now have two pieces of information? So how will I go about finding the red adjacent, which is also the green adjacent? What will I do? Well, what uses O and A? Tan 40 equals O, 130 over A. 130 divided by tan 40 will give me A. $154.92. Now, I can write it, but I'm probably going to need it again, so I'm going to leave it on my calculator. But doesn't hurt to write 154.9 there, does it? Now, on the green triangle, do I have a theta? What is it? 10. Do I have an adjacent? What is it? 154.927, blah, blah, blah. 154.9, right? And what do I need? Which is y. How do I find it? Tan of 10 equals opposite y over 154.9. Opposite over adjacent. It's right on my calculator, isn't it? So, times tan 10. 27.3. So y equals 27.3, correct? Well, if y is 27.3 and x is 130, what's y plus x? 157.3. How many floors separate them? About 16. Everybody good? All right. Next question. Go. The question you should ask yourself is, can you do trig on that right now? Or do you have to change that diagram? Why do you need to change it, Jazzkarn? Because it's isosceles. Is isosceles right? No. I need to make a right angle triangle. What did I just do? I made a right triangle. What did that do to 12? Cut it in half to 6. So now there's my triangle. 6 and 8. Now, I need the angle of inclination. Is it yellow, blue, or green? Has to be the green one, right? Why? Because it goes from flat to up. So, there's my theta. Do I know my theta? So what do? I give it a variable. And once I know I'm working with that angle, what is that 6? Opposite or adjacent? Adjacent. And what is that 8? Hypotenuse. What do I use for A and H? Cosine x equals A 6 over 8. So what's x? Do I need cos or shift cos? Why do I need shift cos? Because I'm finding an angle. Shift cos 6 divided by 8. 41. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need to stop here for a moment and make sure that all you backwards calculator people are comfortable. Are you? If you're using your phone or you're using a backwards calculator, are you getting these right answers? Okay. All right, now, number 19 is very much like 17. I have two of them here because it's the type of question that math teachers like to ask. It doesn't have a lot of real life applications, but it makes you use one thing that you don't need to find the answer that you do need. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you've all seen how to do these building questions. You try and draw the diagram for 19. You don't necessarily have to do it. Some of you have gone ahead and are already trying it. But try to draw the diagram. You got to read the whole question before you draw it. I'm going to wait 15 seconds and ask somebody not to draw it, just to answer a few questions about it. Okay. How many buildings are there? 2. Excellent. Building 1. And what do we know about the second building? It's taller than the first building. Great. Okay. What else do we know about this situation? The buildings are 21 meters apart, so this distance is 21. Agreed? What else do we know? There's some dude standing on top of his building. His name is Yi. What else do I know now? All of you have been to towns with tall buildings. What do? You look up at them. So do you think Yi standing on his roof would look up at the taller building beside him? Sure he would. Yi looks up and creates what kind of angle? Elevation. And what is it? 37. So where does that go? Does it go by Yi or does it go up at the top of the other building? It goes by Yi. 37. What else does Yi then do? He looks down, creating what? An angle of depression. Where does that go? Between Yi or in the buildings? At Yi, because it is his eyes that are doing the moving. I want to know how tall the other building is. So, do I have my 2 triangles? Yep, I got the black one with an X, and I got the red one with a Y. What do I need to do with X and Y to find the height of that other building? Add them. So in the black triangle, what's my theta? 37. What is the X? Opposite. What is the 21? Adjacent. So what am I going to use there? Tan of what? Equals what? X over 21. How do I fix that up? Multiply both sides by 21. So 21 tan 37 equals X. Should I go to my calculator now? Can I? If I'm getting good with trig, should I? Probably not, because I know I've got more calculating to do, right? In the red triangle, do I have a theta? What is it? 28. Do I have an opposite? What is it? What's the other one? Adjacent. 21. What do I do? Tan 28 equals what? Y over 21. Then what? 21 tan 28 equals y. What do I know I need to do with x and y? I need to add them. So now should I go to my calculator? 21 tan 37 plus 21 tan 28. And what's the answer? Everybody good? You guys try 20. Yo. You are going to have another quiz in approximately 23 minutes. There are some word problems. But have no fear, because I'm going to... there will be changes. Talk to your neighbor. Huh? No. What's the first thing we need? Some triangles, yeah? Okay. And how many boys? They're on opposite sides of a mountain, yes? So boy 1, Jivan, and boy 2, Paolo. Okay? They're on opposite sides of a mountain. How do we draw a mountain? Let's put some snow up there. Happy? Can I do trig yet? Why not? What's missing? Numbers, angles, and what else? What's the only kind of triangle I can do trig on? Right angle triangle. So I got to make a right angle triangle, don't I? So let's make it a right angle triangle. How tall is that there mountain? 1350. Now, do I have some triangles I can work with? I got the green triangle that goes down to my man Paolo. Paolo. He's Italian, not Spanish. If he was Spanish, it would be Pablo. But he's not. He's Italian. Paolo. See? Bueno. Over here is Jivan. He's at the bottom of the blue triangle. Right? What do I know about these two triangles? One of the boys has an angle of elevation of 65. Is it Jivan or Paolo, the way I've drawn this? Who has the 65? G-Van. And it doesn't matter, though? But the way I've drawn it, G-Van is significantly steeper, yes? So here's the 65. So this must be what? 50. I want to know how far they got to go to meet up here. So what are the two lines I need to measure? They are going to hike up the mountain. Dum, 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 dum. And then Paolo, he's Italian, so he's going to ride his scooter up the mountain. Ciao, 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 Bella, ciao, ooh, ciao, ciao. But they drive back down, ciao, ciao, hot girl there, ciao, 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 up to the top. Which are the lines I needed to measure? Hypotenuses, yes? If the hypotenuse is involved, what is the one trig thing that we cannot use? We can't use tan because the hypotenuse is involved. G-Van's got a theta of what? 65. And what is that to G-Van? Opposite. See how they're all disappearing? That's handy. Paolo has a theta of what? 50. And an opposite of what? 1350. 1350. I need an hypotenuse. I don't know. And an hypotenuse. I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and close this because every number is disappearing. Oh, they're cleaning up from the last time it was open because it was only open like 2 seconds ago and I only put 5 lines on there, so they got to clean it up. So, what uses O and H? Sine. So on this side, sine of what? 65 equals O, 1350 over H, which I said was X. What's this one? Sine what? 50 equals O, 1350 over what? How do I solve this? 1350 divided by sine 65. Right? And how do I solve this red one? 1350 divided by sine 50. How far does G-Van have to walk? And how far does Paolo have to drive his scooter? His little Vespa. If you've been to Rome, you get why that's funny. How far did G-Van walk? 1350 divided by, not 150, piece of crap, divided by sine 65. How far did Paolo walk? Do those answers make sense? Should Paolo have walked further? Yes, because he was further out this way. So his hypotenuse should be longer. Is everybody good? All right, now listen. Yes? Okay, I'm going to show you again. Okay, I want you to actually pay attention. Okay? Because I've shown this a whole bunch. You ready? 56 divided by x equals 8. How do I solve that? Forget about trig. How do I solve that? Is x allowed to be down there? So how do I get x out from down there? It's already divided. I'm going to multiply both sides by x. Cancel, cancel, and I'm going to get 56 equals 8x, right? How do I get rid of that 8? I do algebra. What? Minus. I divide by 8. Now, please notice, the last step here was 56 divided by 8 to get 7, correct? Now, look back at the original question. The last step was 56 divided by 8. So look back at the original question. I just switched their places. Now look at what we're doing right now. Sine 65 equaled 1350 over x. So at the end of it all, I need to do 1350 divided by sine 65. So I'm not sure what you're asking me, Sahil. You asked me, why do I divide 1350 by sine 65? Because that's the algebra you're doing. Sine 65 is just a decimal, isn't it? Look. Sine 65 equals. So this is saying, this right here says 0.906 equals 1350 over x. So, just like when it was 56, 8, and 7, you just divide them. This seems to cause a lot of people problems. You guys don't seem to get that sine 65 is just that decimal. If you need to do this, do this. Okay? All right, now listen to me. I have this quiz. I want you to write this quiz. I'm going to give this quiz to you at 1:55. That is 18 minutes from now. Or 12:55. That is 18 minutes from now. Giving you half an hour to write it. Listen to me carefully. When I hand this quiz out, I am going to let you have your books. All right? Now listen to me. I am only giving you half an hour. If you look up every single question on this quiz, are you going to get done in time? No. So don't. Clear? Until then, you are going to work on page 70, 71. The answers are there. Practice for 18 minutes. Because when you next hear the Batman theme, I will be handing out a quiz. Clear? Go. This quiz will be done and handed in to me with your name on it, 4 marks, at 1:25. If you finish your quiz early, tomorrow at the end of the first block, we will be marking the Trig review, which is page 73 to 76. If you get some of that done tonight, you will be in good shape. Tomorrow at 8:45, we will be marking the Trig review. That means you have 40 minutes of work time tomorrow. So don't leave yourself with more than 40 minutes of work to do. Do you understand? We will mark the quiz. We will mark the review tomorrow. Making your Trig test what day? Wednesday. In what block? One of the middle two.